In Mod 4 Lesson 21, students worked on problems in mathematical terms. I don't know if I love that title, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit more clear to you. The students today really worked on understanding two words, independent and dependent variables, okay? So for example 1, Marcus read for 30 minutes each night. Determine which variable is independent and which is dependent. Then create a table to show how many minutes he has read in the first 7 days. Finally, write an equation to represent the number of m minutes he can read given any number of d days. Well, I tried to teach, the students and I talked about the meanings of the words independent and dependent, and how independent really means it doesn't rely on anything, and dependent means that it does. So the two variables here, m and d, okay, the ones that are really independent of any mathematical calculations are the days, d. Okay, and you don't see this underneath, but in the students' notes, there are some notes for which one's the independent variable, which one's the dependent, and write two equations. But for this purpose, I'm just going to write all of my stuff on the screen here. Okay, because this one is independent, because it requires no mathematical calculations. It asks how much he reads in the first 7 days, and I just list 1 through 7 out. No thinking required, okay? The m minutes is what we call a dependent variable. It depends. The minutes he reads depends on the number of days that he read for. Okay, so if he reads 30 minutes each night, 1 times 30 is 30. 2 times 30, 60. 3 times 30, 90. 4 times 30, 120. 150, 180, 210. This really is no different from the ratio tables and equation writing we did in Module 1, okay? So the days times 30 is going to give you your minutes, or 30d equals m, really encouraging the students to work on writing multiplication with a coefficient in a variable, okay? And then if you go from the minutes down to the d days, you are taking the minutes and you are dividing them by 30 to get the d days read. Okay, we went through 2 more examples. Okay, the next example is fairly similar to that one. Kiara designs websites. She can create 3 different websites each week. The importance of marking up the text for the students too is very important. Kiara wants to create an equation that will give her the total number of websites that she can design given the number of weeks she works. Determine the independent and dependent variables. Create a table to show the number of websites she can design over the first 5 weeks. Okay, that right there is glaring. Finally, write an equation to represent the number of websites she can design when given any number of weeks. Well, first, websites weeks, I can't give both of them the variable w. So I'm going to give w to the weeks. I'm going to let w represent the weeks. I'm going to let t represent the total number of sites she can make per week, okay? I said this was glaring because they say the first 5 weeks. Whenever the problem gives you any data that you don't have to do anything to, you can just list in your table, that is your independent variable. Okay, we can do weeks here with a W, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, okay? And with this independent variable, now we can calculate the total number of sites that she can create t. Okay, because she makes 3 sites per week. So for every week, I'm going to times it by 3 to get the total of sites. So your table should be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, because all of these are in order. Okay, so again, their equation writing should be very good with the coefficients. You are timesing the weeks by 3 to get the total number of sites, and you can write the backwards or reciprocal of this. You can take the total sites and divide it by 3 to calculate the weeks. Example 3 is what I feel as the most important kind of word problem. Very difficult. There's 2 steps involved in it. Priya streams movies through a company that charges her a $5 monthly fee plus $1.50 per movie. Okay. Determine the independent variables. Write an equation to model the situation and create a table to show the total cost per month given that she might stream between 4 and 10 movies in a month. Again, this is like screaming my name. They're giving me data to put in my table. Okay, so I'm going to let M equal the number of movies I've streamed. And I'm going to let C equal the total cost of my streaming. Now, the thing that is independent of any thinking is movies. Okay, they want between 4 and 10 movies. They give it to you. You don't have to think about it at all. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now, dependent on this movies, now we can calculate our cost. So our movies are independent, our cost is dependent. Now this one was tricky. I liked the trickier ones actually. So every movie is $1.50. So if we had 4 movies, we're going to take each one of those movies, we're going to times it by 4. But don't forget, you have a $5 monthly fee. Okay? So for 4 movies, the cost is going to be $11. Let me try that again. I'm going to stream 5 movies in a month, each movie being $1.50. I'm going to have $7.50, but I can't forget my $5 monthly fee. The next one will be $12.50. Okay, let me do it one more time. 6 movies times $1.50 per movie plus $5 flat rate. Okay, I hope the students recognize now every movie is an additional $1.50, so they can just skip count up by $1.50. And that's our table. Now the most difficult part of this is writing our equations, okay? Because you're doing 2 things to this actually. You are taking your movies, you are timesing them by $1.50, but then you're also adding $5 to get your C cost. So the equation with the coefficient is $1.50 per movie plus our $5 flat rate per month, and that's going to give us our total cost. Now, working backwards on this is so much more tricky, okay? And I'm actually going to use this. We want our cost, okay? Sorry, I'm not speaking correctly. We're going to take our cost. We're going to work backwards to calculate our M movies. So, you actually take your cost and you do the inverse of each operation in backwards order. You're going to take your cost, and instead of adding 5, you're going to do the inverse, which is taking 5 away. I'm going to put that in parentheses to make sure that I know that I have to do that first, okay? After I take my cost and subtract 5, then I have to do the inverse of multiplying by $1.50, which is dividing by $1.50. And once that's done, it's going to give me the M number of movies that I've streamed. So, let me take out my calculator and just give it a try. I'm going to start with $18.50. If I take $18.50 and subtract the $5 flat rate, I end up with $13.50. Now, if I divide $13.50 by $1.50, I should get 9 movies. Yay, I do. And that was basically a summary of our lesson that we did today. Thank you for watching the video.